The ultimate upgrade, from zero to cosmic hero in a monster-filled world. Please like, share and subscribe. Episode 1. Upgrading Talents. In the year 2019, Magic City. Today is the new year, and the whole Magic City is filled with a cheerful atmosphere. Even the practitioners who are wandering on the edge of life and death have dissipated a little of their bloody murderous aura and smiled. Magic City Cultivation College, as the top college in Magic City, is also on holiday on New Year's Day. The magnificent high gate, the traces of time engraved on the huge stone, exudes the vicissitudes of life, and students walk out of the gate in groups of 3 or 5, each going home to celebrate the new year. One of the young men walked out of the crowd. Even among this group of proud children of heaven, he was very conspicuous. His handsome face was as perfect as a carved work of art, his figure was slender and majestic, his temperament was elegant and calm, and attracted many people's attention. However, when everyone saw him, in addition to being amazed at his appearance and demeanor, their eyes were a little strange, or disdainful, or teasing, or mocking, or jealous. Gu Jin ignored the eyes around him, walked out of the courtyard and walked towards his home. He knew what everyone meant in their eyes, nothing more than that he looked good but was actually rotten inside, that he was of low qualification and unworthy of studying at the Magic City Cultivation Academy with them, etc. Gu Jin's family lived in the Linjiang district of Magic City. If it was more than 2,000 years ago, it would be a place where every inch of land was worth a lot of money, but nowadays, it is a place full of dangers, and people with ability are unwilling to live here. Back home, a 2-story cottage, elegant and retro, with small courtyards in front and back, and the rolling Huangfu River across the door. The furnishings in the house were simple, and Gu Jin lit 3 incense sticks and inserted them into the offerings. This was the spirit of his parents in this life. He was not from this world, or perhaps he was from more than 2,000 years ago. 2019 years ago, the global spiritual energy revived, and the era of practitioners arrived. With opportunities came endless fighting, and space cracks opened up the passage to other worlds. Demons, ghosts, monsters and beasts invaded and started a 2,000-year-long fight with humans. The era year began from then on, and today is the day when the spiritual energy revived. People in the world commemorate it and regard it as the new year. Gu Jin, on the day when the spiritual energy revived, traveled to the world 2,000 years later and became a newborn baby. His parents were cultivators. When he was 4 years old, they died in a fight with a ferocious beast. They left behind not much assets, but they were enough for him to grow up. Originally, he could not enter the Magic City Cultivation Academy with his qualifications, but because his parents died to complete a great task, they agreed to give him this place. This is an era of cultivation, an era where the strong are respected and the weak are preyed upon, and talent determines the upper limit of cultivators. Perhaps someone can reach the top with low qualifications, but who can say that this unyielding will is not a brilliant talent? Unfortunately, Gu Jin is only a person with low cultivation qualifications. Fortunately, he has a medium-level formation talent and is now studying in the formation department of the Magic City Cultivation Academy. If he can become an intermediate formation master in the future, he will not have to worry about food and drink. But this brilliant and dazzling world has nothing to do with him. Any aftermath of any turmoil can make him disappear. After worshipping the spirit tablet, Gu Jin made a simple dinner. Today is his 18th birthday, New Year, and the day he traveled through time. It is of great commemorative significance. Gu Jin took out a jar of old wine collected by his father and opened it. The rich and mellow smell of wine filled the air. He poured a glass and raised it. To me 2,000 years ago. After saying that, he drank it in one gulp and filled it up. Happy birthday to me. He drank too quickly and the wine spilled. Happy New Year. Cheers to my lost ambitions. In the end, Gu Jin drank too fast, and he was drunk before he had even eaten a few bites of dinner. He staggered to the windowsill and looked at the rolling Huangfu River. After the spiritual energy was revived, not only did humans undergo transformation, but all things were evolving. The earth had expanded hundreds of times, just like the Huangfu River in front of him, where you couldn't see the other side at a glance, just like the Wangyang Sea. The rolling Yangtze River flows eastward, and the waves wash away the heroes. The heroic voice was bitter. When he thought of the time when he traveled through time, he was full of yearning for the brilliant world, thinking of becoming the protagonist of the era, but unfortunately, the reality cruelly shattered his dream. Gu Jin, who used to look calm and steady, rarely showed an arrogant attitude. Bang! A jar of wine was empty, and Gu Jin fell to the ground and got drunk. Time passed, and when the pointer crossed the early morning. Boom! Gu Jin felt a divine thunder exploded in his head in a daze, and the golden light filled his soul, and a mysterious change occurred. It seemed that something was breaking free from its shackles and reviving. When the morning light shone on Gu Jin's face, Gu Jin slowly opened his eyes and got up from the ground. At this time, he felt refreshed and not drowsy after a hangover. At the same time, he instinctively felt that something seemed to be added to his body. He shook his head, as if something was calling him from the depths of his soul. Buzz. Suddenly, Gu Jin felt that he had touched his soul and saw the mark of vicissitudes engraved in the depths of his soul. Then, a light curtain appeared in front of him, and his human figure appeared in the light curtain. All parts and organs were clearly outlined, and there was a plus sign next to different parts. And the number was displayed in the upper right corner, 1. After a moment, Gu Jin understood what this was. This was his talent, or in other words, an innate ability engraved in the depths of his soul that could not be erased or deprived. Upgrade everything. But now he can only upgrade his body, but as his strength increases, his upgrade talent will also become stronger. Gu Jin looked at the light screen in front of him, and his eyes were filled with uncontrollable excitement. Upgrading, not to mention other things, just being able to upgrade his body is enough to defy the heavens. Looking at the light screen, the number in the upper right corner of the light screen represents the number of upgrades. There is one upgrade opportunity every day, which is updated at midnight, and it will not accumulate if not used. Now I have an upgrade opportunity, what should I upgrade? Gu Jin looked at the projection of his body on the light screen, and could clearly see all parts of his body, including the brain, 5 internal organs, bones, etc. After thinking for a long time, Gu Jin made a decision. He always felt that having a smart brain could better deal with various situations, and the brain was more about comprehension, learning ability, etc. He had a medium talent for formations, and the most important thing for learning formations was comprehension. He was not as good as other people with high talents. In the final analysis, no one had high comprehension. Upgrade, brain. Gu Jin's mind moved, and the number in the upper right corner returned to 0. Episode 2. The Ultimate Brain. Boom. Suddenly, Gu Jin's brain rang and hummed like a bronze bell, which made him lose consciousness for a moment. Then, mysterious energy seeped into the void, and his brain was transformed under the influence of the cool energy. The roar slowly subsided. Brain, clear +1. On the light screen, the plus sign next to the brain changed. At this time, Gu Jin opened his eyes, and in an instant there seemed to be a flash of clarity in his eyes, and his eyes became clear, like a quiet lake under the night sky. The moment he opened his eyes, Gu Jin felt that the world seemed different, as if the dust accumulated in his brain was swept away, becoming clear and clean. After feeling it for a moment, he roughly understood the changes after the brain upgrade. Memory ability, thinking ability, understanding ability, reaction ability, and learning ability have all been transformed, and the control of the body, the coordination of the body, and the sense of balance have also been significantly enhanced. There is also the effect of clearness, calm consciousness, and clear mind. It can keep the consciousness calm and the mind clear and clear. This is a powerful ability like the state of mind. He picked up the book Elementary Formation Runes from the table and flipped through it. At a glance, he found that several lines of content were instantly imprinted in his mind. Analysis, understanding, and memory were all completed in a moment. The knowledge that was originally a little profound was mastered by him in an instant. He had a medium talent for formations, and he could understand these elementary formation runes, but he needed to study them carefully to understand the mystery of a rune. Runes are like words, expressing the mysterious power of heaven and earth. Using different runes to form a formation is like writing an article with words. You can remember the shape of the words and write them out, but you don't understand their meaning and can't apply them at all. Only by thoroughly understanding the mystery of the runes can you be considered to have mastered a rune. Although Elementary Formation Runes is the most basic book for formation masters, it takes several years to study it thoroughly with Gu Jin's previous formation talent. But now, his brain has been upgraded, like a dusty pearl blooming with brilliance. His current formation talent is probably at the level of those genius formation masters. Moreover, the upgrade of the brain is comprehensive, which means that all aspects of his brain-related abilities have been improved. It is not an exaggeration to describe him as a versatile person. Putting down the book, Gu Jin tested the changes in his body. His strength and speed did not change, but his coordination, balance, reaction, and other abilities have undergone transformation. It was not until the night that Gu Jin calmed down. This was just one upgrade, but he had undergone earth-shaking changes, calculated according to the number of upgrades per day. He can transform his body every day, which makes him full of expectations for the future. After the brain upgrade, he is full of motivation to learn, and can't wait to absorb all kinds of knowledge to strengthen himself. He is now an apprentice in the formation department of the Magic City Academy. He does not have the ability to engrave formations at present, and is still in the period of learning the basics of formation runes. Whether it is a formation master or a practitioner, the starting point is the same. It requires a foundation for body forging. Only after having a solid foundation can you reach a higher level. There are 9 levels of physical training. Each level you break through increases your strength by 1,000 kilograms. When you reach the peak of the 9th level, you will have a strength of 10,000 kilograms, and then you can enter the next level, nourishing your energy. Only when you enter the realm of nourishing your energy can a practitioner absorb spiritual energy through practice to increase his combat power, and a formation master can guide the spiritual energy to engrave a formation, allowing the formation runes to contain energy. Only when you enter the realm of nourishing chi and can arrange elementary formations, you can be called an elementary formation master, and you will be officially introduced to the formation, and then delve into the more mysterious formation runes. The strength of a formation master is related to the rune formation he controls. After entering the realm of nourishing chi, the cultivator will refine the spiritual energy cultivated in his body, making it pure and powerful, and at the same time seek to be more compatible with himself. If the formation master studies runes, then the cultivator cultivates himself. There is no saying who wins or loses, who is better or worse, and in the end they all end up in the same place. As for whether there are people who take both into account, of course there are, but either they grab both with both hands and end up with nothing, or they take both into account, but there are differences in importance. Like many powerful formation masters, they practice martial arts, but they are more for resisting and protecting themselves when facing close enemies rather than killing them. Time passed as Gu Jin studied the book on formation runes, almost forgetting to eat and sleep. When he was pulled back to his senses by hunger and fatigue, it was already dark. He had studied for a whole day without realizing it. However, the progress was very gratifying. He had conquered half of the thick elementary formation runes. He was stuck in the first half before and was struggling to make progress. But he didn't expect that a month of hard study in the past would not be as good as the results of less than a day now. Thinking of the refreshing feeling just now, Gu Jin was really immersed in knowledge and couldn't extricate himself. In the past, when the brain was covered with dust, learning was hard, but now that the brain has been upgraded, learning has become a fun thing. The feeling of progressing all the time makes people addicted. He went to the kitchen to make himself a hearty dinner. Last night, he was busy drinking and got drunk without eating much. Today, he was reading all day, consuming brainpower, and he was really hungry now. However, even though he was extremely hungry, Gu Jin still gave people a sense of elegance and calmness when he took action, but his speed was definitely not satisfactory. This is the effect of Qingming, which keeps him calm. After dinner, Gu Jin walked out of the yard with a book, sat in a rocking chair under an old sycamore, brewed a pot of tea, looked at the rolling river under the moonlight, and read while sipping tea, which was a leisurely feeling. The college had a 7-day holiday for the new year, and Gu Jin had already made a rough plan for these 7 days. 7 days would allow him to upgrade 7 times, and Gu Jin would make good use of these 7 opportunities to lay the foundation for his own strength. In the next 2 days, Gu Jin almost stayed at home to study the array. In these 2 days, he used the upgrade on his brain, and now the attribute of his brain is Brain, Qingming +3. The 2 brain upgrades did not produce new special abilities, but the basic abilities were further improved. After the second brain upgrade, Gu Jin felt that his learning progress in the array had surpassed the ordinary genius level. After the third upgrade, the ability of the brain continued to improve, allowing him to reach the top genius level in the talent of the array. More importantly, he has improved comprehensively. Except for his talent in formation, his other talents are all at the top genius level. Gu Jin even felt that his reaction, thinking, memory, learning, coordination and balance of the body, and control of the body have all reached an extreme. This is the extreme that the brain can reach now. This makes Gu Jin a little expectant and uneasy. Reaching the extreme means that if he continues to upgrade, he may be able to break through the limit and reach a new level. On the contrary, if he can no longer upgrade from now on, then it is obvious that this extreme is the limit of his current upgrade ability, and he needs to improve his strength before he can continue to upgrade. Episode 3. Beyond the Top Talents. Time passed as Gu Jin flipped through primary formation runes. After upgrading his brain 3 times, his learning ability increased greatly. He had finished studying this book this morning. Now he was just reviewing. When the pointer passed 12 o'clock, Gu Jin closed the book and put it down gently. Even with the effect of the clear state of mind, he felt surging excitement and anticipation. The clear state of mind has active and passive effects. Normally, if Gu Jin did not actively enter the clear state of mind, the effects of calmness and emptiness were incidental and not too strong. But if Gu Jin actively entered, he would reach a state of calmness and extreme calmness. Entering the house, closing the door, sitting upright on the sofa, the reason why he continued to choose to upgrade his brain was because he wanted to find out the rules of upgrading talents. See where the current limit of upgrading talents is, and whether new characteristics will appear if you keep upgrading? Or will the characteristics change? These are all things he wants to figure out. Brain, upgrade. Boom. The shock reverberated in his brain. If it was the humming of a bell before, Gu Jin felt as if a mountain was collapsing in his mind. The cool energy surged and roared. He could feel that his brain was bound by shackles, and with the increase of energy, he wanted to break free from the shackles. The shackles gradually cracked under the sweep of energy, and the cracks began to spread and finally spread. Bang! Suddenly, a crisp sound rang out, like the sound of a pleasant string, like the sound of a stream flowing quietly, which was extremely beautiful. With this clear sound, the shackles broke, shattered, and dissipated. And Gu Jin's brain, which he felt had reached its limit before, was like breaking free from a cage and completely released. The thought swept up a storm, and all abilities were improving. Even if he closed his eyes at this time, he could clearly see the condition of his body, and there seemed to be a force in his mind that could be manipulated at will. Gu Jin closed his eyes and stood up from the sofa. Just in the process of standing up, the nerves, muscles, bones, tendons, etc. in the body were all operating in a complex way. But these operations were clearly reflected in Gu Jin's mind at this time. The instructions were transmitted by the brain through the nerves, the muscles contracted, the tendons were driven, the tendons connected to the bones, and thus supported the body to stand up. This process was clearly visible, and even after Gu Jin spread this perception, he could see the surrounding environment with his eyes closed. The surging energy in the mind subsided, and the storm-like thoughts in the brain also stopped. Gu Jin opened his eyes and looked at the light screen in front of him. Brain, clear +3, quick thinking +1. The first thing I saw was that the attributes of the brain had changed, from clear +3 to quick thinking +1. It seems that the third upgrade is a limit. If you continue to upgrade, you will break the limit and enter a new level. I wonder what the next limit of the brain is now. Can it still be broken after reaching the limit? Retracting his thoughts, Gu Jin studied the current brain's capabilities. After a moment, he understood the ability of the quick thinking feature. Quick thinking, the shackles of the brain are broken, breaking the limit, with the prototype of mental power and the initial perception ability. The mysterious energy in the mind is mental power. Memory, thinking, understanding, reaction, and learning ability have been greatly improved. Now once it is completely released and the brain is running, it will sweep like a storm. At the same time, the control of the body has also reached a subtle level, and the rotation of joints, muscle contraction, and force transmission are clearly perceived. It can even be detailed to control every muscle. At the same time, the ability of clarity is also stronger, and it can restrain its own breath and not be detected by others. Close your eyes, and the mental power will spread, instantly covering the area of 10 meters in radius, and all things are reflected in the mind in detail. It is really a magical ability. More importantly, Gu Jin heard that the primary array master used paper, pen, and beast blood to draw runes, guide aura, and arrange the array. The advantage is naturally that paper, pen, and low-level beast blood are relatively common. It can be used in large quantities for practice, so that the cost of arranging the primary array is not high. But the downside is that paper is fragile and can hardly carry strong energy, and low-level beast blood cannot seal the powerful spiritual energy that is guided, and it will continue to leak. Therefore, this method can only be used to make primary arrays, and even some more complex primary arrays cannot be arranged in this way. This requires more advanced means. Use mental power to engrave on the spirit stone. Those who can do this can be called intermediate array masters. But mental power is not so easy to cultivate. But Gu Jin actually has mental power now, and he is just an apprentice. He can't even use paper and pen to draw runes to guide spiritual energy. After calming down his excited mind, Gu Jin calmed down and thought about the next path. His current thinking and analytical ability is definitely beyond the top genius, and his perspective on analyzing things is more comprehensive, and he understands that everything has its own rules. Reaching an extreme, there will definitely be amazing changes after the breakthrough, but then it will be a long accumulation process, waiting for the next extreme. The brain has just broken the limit. If it continues to upgrade, it is fine, but it is not rational, because the level of the brain is now far beyond his body. It has caused the overflow of ability. Or it can be said that the continued upgrading of the brain will not change his hardcore strength much. He continues to upgrade his brain, and his comprehension is terrifying. He can easily understand advanced and top runes, but so what? Now he can't even arrange the primary formation, even if he understands and masters the top runes. What's the use? Therefore, it is more important to practice now. Only by breaking through the 9th level of body refining and entering the realm of nourishing chi can he guide the spiritual energy of heaven and earth and arrange the primary formation. Even with his mental power, he can try the intermediate formation. Now, the 9th level of body refining is the hurdle he must cross. What level of body refining is he in now? Unfortunately, it is not even the first level. The first level of body refining has a force of 1,000 kilograms, and Gu Jin's current force is only 900 kilograms. Episode 4. Defending China. This is why he was criticized in the academy. His medium-level talent in formation is nothing, but it is acceptable. Moreover, in the same realm, although formation masters are rare, their status and treatment are generally good, because people in the world have more demands for them. Although he is not a big shot, he can be called a small white-collar worker. Unfortunately, his cultivation talent is too poor, so poor that his formation talent is almost wasted. If he does not enter the realm of nourishing chi, it will be just talk on paper. And now, Gu Jin, who has the talent for upgrading, will break this shackle. His comprehension has surpassed the top genius level, and now it is time to upgrade other parts of the body. Gu Jin has an idea for the next upgrade target. His first choice condition is to be able to make fundamental changes to the body. Things like hands and feet, which can significantly improve his strength after upgrading, are not among his first choices. Finally, his eyes fell on the core part of the human body phantom on the light curtain and selected it. This is the most important part of the human body besides the brain. Now that the upgrade has just been completed, there are still more than 20 hours before the next upgrade. Gu Jin did not waste time. He has completely mastered the primary formation runes, but he does not have the intermediate formation runes. He needs to borrow it from the college library. So, he plans to practice the bodybuilding method. As the foundation of the 9th level of bodybuilding, it is natural to forge and consolidate it well, and the 36-style bodybuilding method is a bodybuilding method that has been continuously improved and refined in China for more than 2,000 years and has reached almost perfect perfection. Although it does not have a powerful ability to destroy the world, it is better in consolidation and solidity, which can make the first step of the practitioner steady. Because the ancestors used painful lessons to tell the descendants the consequences of unstable foundation. In the early stage of the recovery of spiritual energy, fighting was everywhere. In order to survive, humans did not care about the foundation and future, and were looking for the fastest way to improve their strength. When the strong humans gradually grew up, humans also stood firm in this battle of survival and began to seek subsequent development. At this time, many strong men who were at the top of the human race at that time found that because their foundation was not solid at the beginning, the way of cultivation had almost reached the end and there was no possibility of further progress. In order to prevent the younger generation from repeating the same mistakes, the predecessors from generation to generation modified the excellent bodybuilding method and finally condensed this 36-style bodybuilding method. The movements of the bodybuilding method seem strange and not difficult to do, but each movement contains mysterious changes. Whether the grasp of each bit of strength is accurate or not affects the results of tempering. Gu Jin has mental perception, coupled with the subtle level of control over the body, which allows him to perfectly complete the movements in the bodybuilding method. Unfortunately, even if his movements are perfect, when a set of bodybuilding methods is completed, there is still only a slight warm current coming out to transform his body, and the effect does not seem to be significant. Even people with ordinary cultivation talents have much better cultivation results than him. Gu Jin sighed. He made the movements perfectly, but the physical potential he guided out was only a little more than before, which was still insignificant compared to others. This is talent. Body training is a process of discovering potential, feeding back to the body, and strengthening the foundation. For those with outstanding talents, after a set of body training methods, the heat in the body will surge, tempering and washing the body, forging all parts of the body, increasing the body's foundation, and consolidating the foundation. Breaking through the 9th level is an easy process. As for Gu Jin, he estimated that if he continued to practice at the current speed, even if his brain was smart, he would only have the hope of breaking through the 9th level when his hair turned gray and entering the state of nourishing qi. However, even so, Gu Jin was still not discouraged and gave up practicing the body training method. He knew that after midnight, upgrading the body, perhaps everything might be different. It is very likely that practicing 100 times now would not be as good as practicing once at that time, but he was still serious and calm. Complete it with the most perfect requirements. Sweat gradually covered his eyes and slid down from his eyes. Gu Jin was unmoved, his mind immersed in the body training method, and his mental power sensed the subtle changes in every part of his body. The requirements for the strength of each movement were extremely precise. Finally, after Gu Jin finished the last round with soreness all over his body, he took a shower, lay down, and immediately fell into a deep sleep. It was just right for the body to reach the extreme of cultivation. A little more would hurt the body, and a little less would be more than enough. He relied on being calm in a clear and bright state of mind to grit his teeth and hold on to such an extreme. When he exited the clear and bright state of mind, he was almost drowned by the soreness all over his body and fainted. The next day, the bright morning light made the bright sky gilded, and the sun hanging in the sky sprinkled brilliance, filled with rich vitality. The demon city was noisy very early. In the era of practitioners, many strange things appeared. For example, don't be surprised when you see someone on the street with a fierce monster or beast. Cars, subways, and other means of transportation have undergone a transformation. They no longer use oil and electricity, but engrave formations on the power engine and use the spiritual energy of heaven and earth as fuel. As for hot weapons, they were completely abandoned 100 years after the revival of spiritual energy, and turned to studying how to use spiritual energy weapons. Magic City, as the Oriental Pearl 2000 years ago, has a unique status and profound historical charm, but now, Magic City is not considered a top city in China. Even the first-tier cities are barely ranked because of its historical status. As for the reason, it is really because the location of Magic City is too dangerous. 2,000 years ago, Magic City was prosperous because of its unique location, but now it has declined for the same reason. Magic City is not a big city, but refers to its scale and population. Today, the earth is huge and China is vast. Two cities that used to be adjacent are often tens of thousands of miles apart. After more than 2,000 years of development, new classes have gradually formed. The population of first-tier cities can reach hundreds of millions. With a huge base, there are naturally many practitioners with outstanding talents. Gradually, generations of practitioners grow up and become pillars to replace the top. However, the population of Magic City is less than 100 million. The reason is that Magic City is located by the sea. When the spiritual energy revived, Magic City was attacked by sea beasts and was almost destroyed. The remaining demons had to resist the attacks of the endless beasts in the sea, and also prevent the demons and monsters from the other side of the space crack. It can be said that for 2,000 years, the demon city was fighting all the time. Gradually, it formed the first line of defense to defend China. Therefore, there are not many people in the demon city, but there are many strong ones. The weak ordinary people have long migrated or been eliminated, and the fearful practitioners have also fled. The remaining ones are all strong ones with strength and blood. Episode 5. Killing Wall. Gu Jin walked on the avenue, and the people passing by all had smiles on their faces, filled with the atmosphere of the new year. Surrounded by tall buildings and majestic buildings, retro pavilions can be seen from time to time in the modern steel jungle. The spacious avenue is busy with cars, suspended cars are coming and going, and the sky is crossed by shuttle tracks. The train is running at 10 times the speed of sound, but the body is engraved with silencers, concealment, and other formations. Even if the train passes by, the breeze will not bring a wisp. The Magic City looks no different from more than 2,000 years ago, except that it has more high-tech. However, if we say that the iconic building of the Magic City today is no longer the Oriental Pearl Tower that disappeared 2,000 years ago, but a towering wall that can be seen when you look up at this time. This wall is called Killing. The Killing Wall is hundreds of meters high and thousands of meters thick. It stretches and stands on the coastline of the Magic City, isolating the Magic City from the Wangyang Sea. Its purpose of existence is not to protect, but as its name suggests, to kill. What was killed was, of course, the endless beasts and demons in the sea. The Killing Wall was built with solid white jade, which completely emptied the white jade mines in the 100,000-mile mountain range. The wall was engraved with formations, which allowed it to stand for more than 1,000 years, and it has survived countless battles, large and small, and endless fighting, but it is still safe. However, the originally pure white and transparent wall turned from white to red, from red to dark, dark to dark, and black to deep due to the erosion of blood. Finally, it became the dead silence that swallowed even the light. If it weren't for the shining runes left by many powerful formation masters on the wall, the killing wall would probably be like an abyss covering the sky above the demon city. The formations on the wall are the culmination of countless formation masters' continuous engraving and modification over the past 1,000 years. Gradually, it has become a kind of honor, and many formation masters are proud to be qualified to leave their own formations on the killing wall. He withdrew his gaze from the abyss-like dead silence. Although the killing wall was terrifying, if he got closer, he could hear the roar of endless resentful souls, which shook his mind. But in the eyes of everyone in the Magic City, it was a spiritual symbol. Perhaps one day the killing wall would collapse, and the Magic City would disappear in the long river of history. Gu Jin walked on the prosperous streets. Everyone loved to celebrate and join in the fun during the new year, but compared to other people's family reunions and gatherings with relatives and friends, he seemed out of place alone. Beep. Suddenly, a horn sounded, and an old car stopped beside him, with the window rolled down, revealing a smiling face. The middle-aged uncle had a resolute appearance and was a handsome old man with unkempt stubble on his face and an unruly smile on his lips. "Xiao Gu, where are you going?" The middle-aged uncle laughed heartily and stopped the car casually on the side of the road and got out. Li Mu, a single old man, was his father's former comrade-in-arms and had taken good care of him over the years. "Uncle." Gu Jin greeted him and then looked at the car behind him. "It seems that you can't park here." It's okay. Li Mu was wearing a black suit, but it was different from ordinary suits. It was more solemn and sharp, more like a military uniform. The black coat was draped over his shoulders. It was originally a very handsome and dignified uniform, but it still couldn't suppress Li Mu's unserious temperament. Did the uncle just come back? After Gu Jin had spiritual power, he was sensitive and could sense the strong bloody smell on Li Mu. "Ah, I am not afraid that you will be lonely during the new year, so I come back to accompany you." Li Mu put his arm around Gu Jin's shoulder with a smile and lit a cigarette. Gu Jin helplessly let Li Mu pull his shoulder and shake him. Speaking of which, this is one of the few people close to him in the world. He has the same name as the warring state's god of war, but he does not have the temperament of a god of war at all. He is a single old man, with no old people above him and no children below him. He is not bad in conditions. His eyes light up when he sees a beautiful woman, but he has never had a partner. Now he is a member of the Magic City Expeditionary Force. The Magic City has 3 armies. The city guards maintain the stability of the city defense army is stationed on the killing wall and the surrounding territories of the Magic City, and the Expeditionary Force. It is the butcher knife raised to the endless demons, monsters and beasts. Hey. Brother, we are on the same side, don't copy it, I'll drive away now. Li Mu was puffing out smoke, and suddenly saw a man in uniform standing in front of his car, writing something down. Seeing Li Mu running up in a panic, Gu Jin couldn't help shaking his head and laughing. The man heard the shout and looked over. When he saw Li Mu wearing a crooked uniform, his eyes were stern, revealing admiration. He immediately stood up straight and saluted in a standard military salute, "Sir." "Hee. No need to be so polite." Li Mu walked up with a smile, put his hand on the man's shoulder, copied it with his hand, and then patted him on the shoulder. "Happy New Year." Until Li Mu pulled Gu Jin into the car and left, the man came back to his senses from the excitement, but suddenly remembered something, and saw that the ticket he was halfway through writing and preparing to report was gone. Gu Jin looked at Li Mu, who was whistling, holding a cigarette in one hand and the steering wheel in the other, and said, "Uncle, when will you find a partner and start a family?" Inhale, exhale. Li Mu took a deep breath of smoke and exhaled, his face blurred in the smoke, and said in a deep and vicissitudes voice, "Isn't it that there is no suitable one? Besides, it won't be too late for me to get married after you get married? Men are like wine, the older they are, the more mellow they are." But suddenly the deep voice changed and became frivolous again. After returning home, Li Mu solemnly lit incense for Gu Jin's parents, cooked a sumptuous dinner himself, and opened a bottle of wine. "Come and try it, this is the wine I robbed in the Qinggu Mountains, brewed with various rare flowers and fruits." The bottle of wine was opened, and the rich fragrance filled the air, the fragrance of flowers and fruits intertwined, which was extremely tempting. The two drank a glass and started to work. Gu Jin's every move was elegant, while Li Mu swept away everything. After dinner, Li Mu crossed his legs, sipped wine, and suddenly threw something to Gu Jin. Gu Jin instinctively caught it. It was an ancient ring. You didn't make it back for your birthday yesterday, so I'll give you this gift to make up for it. Li Mu drank the wine in the glass, stood up and left. When he reached the door, he suddenly stopped and sighed, "If you don't understand anything on the road of cultivation, just come to me." Looking at Li Mu's back as he left, he was majestic and heroic, exuding a heart-wrenching demeanor that Gu Jin had never seen before. The bright moon was hanging high, the wind was cool, and the early morning came, and the number of upgrades was refreshed. Episode 6. Upgrading the Heart. The light curtain appeared in front of him, and Gu Jin's eyes fell on the upgrade part that he had decided to upgrade early in the morning, which was a beating heart. His second choice to upgrade was the source of human power, one of the most important parts of the human body, the heart. Heart, upgrade. Gu Jin gave the order, and then his mind was calm, feeling the changes in his body. Although it was not the first time to upgrade, every time he could give him infinite expectations. Bang. 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 Suddenly, a strong heartbeat sounded, and then the heartbeat became louder and louder. After the mysterious energy of the void was poured in, every beat sounded like a drum in Gu Jin's ears. The heart contracted in diastolic, and in one breath, it produced indescribable energy. After the blood passed through the heart, it was tempered by the heart, soaked by the energy, and changed. The color became more scarlet, became thorough, and gave people a pure feeling. After the energy pouring into the heart was absorbed, the upgrade was completed. The surging roar in Gu Jin's ears stopped, and he slowly opened his eyes. At this moment, Gu Jin felt like he was reborn. Clearly feel the powerful beating of the heart. Blood passes through the heart, and is transported to the brain, 5 internal organs, limbs and bones. As the blood passes, the energy in the blood is also transforming the body all the time. The brain is running faster than ever with the energy support of the blood. Looking at the system light screen, the heart has also changed at this time. Heart, power +1. Power? Gu Jin whispered softly, looking at his body, he could feel the changes in his body, gently clenched his fist, a solid sense of power emerged, and a punch blasted out, raising a sound of wind breaking through the air. His strength has increased, the original 900 kilograms of strength, now reached 1,000 kilograms, which is already the realm of the first level of body refining, but strangely, he did not realize that his realm has broken through. Still stuck at the entrance. Mental power permeates, sensing the heart. At this time, the heart is scarlet and transparent, with a faint red halo, and mysterious energy is generated during contraction, which is integrated into the blood when it flows through, and then transported to the whole body to transform the body. After careful observation, Gu Jin discovered that the energy was not generated out of thin air by the heart, but when the heart was in diastole, it absorbed the external spiritual energy, and then was tempered and transformed by the heart to become the energy for the transformation of the body. The heart is actually absorbing spiritual energy? Gu Jin showed a surprised look. Spiritual energy, but it needs to complete the 9th level of body refining and break through to the state of nourishing qi to absorb it, but he, who has not even started body refining, has actually begun to absorb spiritual energy to forge his body. In addition, it takes the spiritual power of the practitioners who have reached the intermediate formation master, which is equivalent to the state of nourishing qi, and the state of inheriting ancient times. If people knew about it, it would definitely cause a huge wave of shock. Because this is completely beyond common sense and cannot be described as talent. Gu Jin tried the effect of practicing the bodybuilding method after the heart upgrade. As the movements were performed perfectly, his heart beat like thunder and his blood surged. The further he moved, the more powerful his heart contracted and relaxed, and the faster he absorbed the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. After being tempered, the spiritual energy turned into energy and merged into the blood, which was transported to all parts of the body with the blood to strengthen the body. The potential of the body also gradually deepened in this process. After completing one side of the 36-style bodybuilding method, a warm current like a trickle emerged from the body, flowing through all parts of the body, tempering the body, and improving physical strength, speed, burst, endurance, etc. Gu Jin opened his eyes happily. The effect of the practice was indeed stronger after the heart was upgraded. What surprised him even more was that after the heart absorbed the spiritual energy and tempered it, it was transported to all parts of the body through the blood, strengthening his body while also enhancing his potential. Body training is the process of tapping potential and forging the body. In the past, Gu Jin had a low talent for cultivation, that is, his physical potential was poor, so he could not make any progress even with hard practice. Now this is undoubtedly equivalent to transforming his talent. More importantly, this is just an upgrade of the heart. The ninth level of body refining mainly refines the skin, flesh, and bones, and finally opens the dantian to nourish the innate qi. If he upgrades the skin, flesh, and bones, then his physical potential will definitely be changed dramatically. The body refining method has a daily practice limit. After reaching the limit, Gu Jin stopped, took a bath, and sat on the rocking chair in the yard. Suddenly, he remembered the space ring given to him by Li Mu. The space ring is insignificant to powerful practitioners, but given Gu Jin's current situation, he may not be able to afford the worst one even if he goes bankrupt. The academy teaches how to bind the space ring. Gu Jin focused his consciousness and left his mark on the ring, and the binding was completed simply. He opened the space ring and found that the space of this ring was as large as 30 cubic meters. In the following time, Gu Jin practiced the body refining method every day, and did not slack off because of the terrifying ability of upgrading talent. 2 days later, Gu Jin finally crossed the threshold of not getting started and stepped into the realm of the first level of body refining. The attributes of the heart have now become Heart Power plus 3. The heart was upgraded 3 times, which greatly increased Gu Jin's strength. Among them, breaking through the first level of body refining increased his strength by 100 kilograms. The heart was upgraded 3 times, increasing by 100, 200 and 300 kilograms respectively. In addition, the heart absorbed spiritual energy all the time, which increased the body by 100 kilograms. There is also the 100 kilograms increased by practicing in the past few days. Let his strength reach 1,800 kilograms, far exceeding the normal 1,000 kilograms of the first level. Gu Jin felt that upgrading the body was likely to transform at the root, that is, to upgrade the body at the innate level. Assuming that he did not practice the bodybuilding method, but simply upgraded the body, as each part was upgraded, he could gradually increase his strength to 10,000 kilograms, which is the strength that can only be achieved by the extreme 9th level of body refining. If he practiced the bodybuilding method again at this time, it would naturally have an improvement effect. It is impossible to still be stuck at 10,000 kilograms of strength after practicing. That is to say, I have now broken the limit of the human body, and this limit is not the end, and it can still be improved. Gu Jin's eyes shone with brilliant light. As for the future, he is more and more confident to stand on the top of the world and feel the magnificence of the times. Episode 7. Spiritual Carvings. Today, the academy holiday is over. Gu Jin finished his morning practice and went to the academy after washing up. The area of the Demon City has increased greatly. The Demon City Training Academy is located in the core area of the Demon City. It is far away from where he lives, but it can be reached in a moment by train. Get off at the station, pass the towering gate, and enter the academy. The Demon City Training Academy covers a large area. Gu Jin walked for more than 10 minutes to reach the place where the class was held. This is an exquisite and classical place. Crossing the winding wooden bridge on the lake, you will come to the main hall of the island in the middle of the lake. The main hall is supported by 16 huge wooden pillars. There are no doors or walls around, only pure white cloth curtains fluttering in the wind. Gu Jin's arrival attracted everyone's attention, but no one took the initiative to greet him. The man looked at him with disdain and jealousy of his appearance. Many girls showed a crazy look and then covered it with a pity. In the words circulated in the academy, it is a face of a genius, but inside is a waste of mud. Gu Jin sat cross-legged at his seat. There was a small table in front of him, with incense burning quietly. The surrounding environment made people feel peaceful. After a while, a distant bell sounded, and a man walked into the hall, nodded to everyone, and began to lecture. Zhang Ting, a lecturer in the formation department, may look young, but he is actually in his 40s. He is a senior formation master, and he has maintained his youth due to his cultivation. He did not communicate with the students throughout the whole process, but Zhang Ting's explanation was very detailed. As long as you pay attention, you can basically understand it, not to mention the students who can enter the formation department of Magic City College. Advanced formation talent is a basic requirement. Gu Jin's previous situation was really a backdoor. Although he had studied and mastered the content of Zhang Ting's explanation in the past few days, listening to the senior formation master's explanation again still brought him a different understanding. Time passed very quickly in concentration. The distant bell sounded again. Zhang Ting left directly, and the students also dispersed in groups of 3 or 5. The current courses in the formation department are very easy, which is a process of laying the foundation. After all, if you want to start practicing formation, you must at least enter the realm of nourishing qi to initially guide the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. The highest cultivation level of the current students is only the 9th level, and most of them are around the 6th and 7th levels. Therefore, the academy still mainly allows students to focus on body training. Only by entering the realm of nourishing qi as early as possible can you delve into the way of formation. Of course, most of the people in Gu Jin's class are civilians, and they can enter the Magic City Academy because of their talent. They can't compare with those who come from families and have been trained since childhood. Many young people from big families have entered the realm of nourishing qi before they are 15 years old. In the eyes of that group of people, this is just barely considered a genius. After Gu Jin walked out of the hall, he did not leave, but walked deep into the island. There was a book pavilion inside, which had the intermediate formation runes he needed. At present, the primary formation runes has been mastered by him. The body forging method has a daily limit, and it is a waste of extra time, so Gu Jin plans to borrow it from the book pavilion. In the green bamboo forest, bamboo leaves rustle, and the bamboo forest surrounds an attic. The attic is not big, with only 2 floors. Enter with the student identity token of the Magic City Cultivation Academy, find the intermediate formation runes, and after asking, I learned that I couldn't take it out, so I had to find a window seat and read it carefully. In fact, the book Intermediate Formation Runes is not a precious book. As the strength of the formation students improves, they will be distributed as textbooks. Because the formation runes have existed since ancient times, whether you can understand it depends on your innate understanding. What really makes people fight for the collection is the formation drawings. The breeze outside the window blew, shaking the green bamboo, and the fallen leaves rustled, making people feel safe and peaceful. Gu Jin's understanding at this time did not feel any difficulty even in the intermediate formation runes. He was immersed in the joy of absorbing knowledge and didn't feel the passage of time at all. It was not until the sky darkened and the attic was lit that Gu Jin came back to his senses, put down the book, and rubbed his tired eyes. He nodded to the old man who was guarding the attic and holding a green bamboo staff, and then left. Generally, students of the academy would stay in the academy, especially those from common families. The various facilities in the academy to assist in cultivation would be of great help to them. Gu Jin was originally staying at the academy, but now he has a secret, and it is inconvenient to practice in the same room with others, so he plans to move out. Maybe he can live in an independent building in the academy in the future if he has the capital. After returning home and making a simple dinner, Gu Jin took out paper and pen and sat at the desk. Holding the brush between his slender fingers, his expression was calm, his face was calm, and his mind was completely immersed in the perception of the array runes. Suddenly, Gu Jin's pen tip fell, the pen moved like a dragon, and the pen tip rotated faintly, revealing a charm, and finally, he finished with one stroke. Huh. Looking at the mysterious runes he drew, this is the basic rune for arranging the flame-type array. Gu Jin is trying to draw it. In theory, if you have not entered the realm of nourishing qi, you cannot guide the spiritual energy. Even if the runes you draw are similar, they are just superficial and have no effect at all. But Gu Jin thought that the primary array master used paper, pen, and beast blood to set up the array and guide the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. The intermediate array master used his mental power to carve the spirit stone to set up the array. Although he has not entered the realm of nourishing qi and cannot guide the spiritual energy, he has mental power. Therefore, Gu Jin used his mental power as a guide and immersed himself in the carving of runes. At the beginning, he could not control it very well. Even if he entered a clear state of mind, he still made mistakes frequently. It was not until he practiced for a long time that he finally completed the carving of a rune. Putting down the brush, Gu Jin could not help but sigh at his poor talent. In fact, he had a plan before he put pen to paper, but when he was writing, his hand could not perfectly stabilize the rune, even though his brain broke the first limit and achieved fine control over his body. Because drawing runes also requires talent. And he happened to be the kind of person with extremely poor talent, and his hands lacked spirituality. If he had a more skillful hand, he might be able to complete the rune carving the first time he put pen to paper. Now there is one more part waiting in line for upgrade. Time passed while Gu Jin was practicing carving runes, and the early morning came quietly. When the pointer passed 12 o'clock, Gu Jin, who was clearly immersed in the rune carving, coincidentally put down his pen. The upgrade times are refreshed. Tonight is the time to break the heart limit. Gu Jin whispered softly, with expectation in his deep double face. Heart, upgrade. He gave the order without hesitation. Boom. Hot, scorching, boiling, like a raging flame suddenly ignited in the heart, and as the blood flows, the flame spreads throughout the body with the blood. Gu Jin sat upright on the sofa, his brows furrowed, his face showed a painful look, and the hot breath emanated from him. It can be clearly seen that the air around him is slightly distorted. That is the phenomenon caused by the high temperature evaporating the moisture in the air. Gu Jin sank into a clear state, and his mental power sensed the physical condition, and was immediately shocked by the situation in his body. P.S. Readers said to list the realm. I don't know why the comment can't be replied. Thank you for your support, and by the way, ask for flowers and evaluation tickets, and reward at will. Body Refining Level 9. All people start with Body Refining. The Yangji realm corresponds to the primary array master. The Chenggu realm corresponds to the intermediate array master. The Mingluan realm corresponds to the advanced array master. Episode 8. Burning Heart. The heart was shining brightly, and the gilded flames were burning. The scarlet and transparent blood flowed to the heart, and then was ignited by the golden flames, turning into burning golden flames that flowed to the whole body. As the blood circulated, Gu Jin's whole body was burned and forged by the golden flames. Even in a clear and absolutely calm state, Gu Jin still felt the burning pain. Under the burning and forging of the golden flames, the heart became more crystal clear, like a ruby, and each beat was more powerful, and the speed of absorbing spiritual energy increased amazingly. I don't know how much time has passed. When Gu Jin felt that the bright golden flames in his body were extinguished, the scorching heat turned into warmth and softness. The upgrade of the heart was completed. Opening his eyes, Gu Jin immediately looked at the light curtain. Heart power +3, burning +1. Burning +1? Gu Jin murmured, thinking of the amazing scene just now. The golden flames sweeping in his body really surprised him. The spiritual power sensed the heart, and saw a ball of golden flames burning in the heart, and the flames were burning and swaying. The heart absorbed the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, and the golden flame burned and tempered the spiritual energy, and then merged it into the blood. When the blood passed through the heart, it was also burned by the golden flame. After being tempered, it became more pure and stained with the golden flame. The scarlet and transparent blood was mixed with golden light. The blood became scorching hot. The mind was withdrawn from the body, and Gu Jin clenched his fists, sensing the transformation of the body now. In the process of the golden flame burning just now, in addition to the tempering of the heart blood, the muscles, bones and internal organs of the whole body were tempered, and this tempering continued. As the blood flowed, the golden flames in the blood burned and forged the body, improving the quality of the whole body. Although it was not as turbulent as the tsunami during the upgrade, it was better in the long run. Huh. Gu Jin punched out, setting off a shrill sound of breaking through the air, and the wind whistled in the living room. His current strength has reached 3,600 kilograms, and his realm is still just breaking through the first level of body refining, but his strength is comparable to the third level of body refining. At the same time, Gu Jin felt that as he punched, the burning breath in his body was also rolling, making each of his punches contain strange power, and even the golden flame in his heart was shaking, as if it would surge out at any time. Gu Jin punched again as he felt, and his mental power sensed his body. He punched out, and this time he did not suppress it. The golden flame in his heart was immediately mobilized, burning and spreading from his heart, and finally gathered on his fist. Boom! I saw a ball of golden light suddenly lit up in the dim hall, and Gu Jin's fist was burning with golden flames. The temperature was extremely high, and the moment it appeared, the air was burned and distorted. Waving his hand, the golden flames gathered back to his heart. Although it was just a glimpse, Gu Jin also felt the amazing destructive power contained in the golden flames. With my current strength, I'm afraid that even a third-level cultivator wouldn't be able to defeat me with one move. Gu Jin felt the surging blood in his body and couldn't help but sigh. In just a week, his strength had changed dramatically, although he was still at the first-level realm. But his actual combat power was enough to suppress the third-level cultivator. Even with the destructive power of the golden flame, even a cultivator at a higher level in the body refining realm could hardly resist it. Afterwards, Gu Jin tried the 36-style body refining method. As he moved, his heart beat, the golden flame shone, and his blood roared, carrying energy to all parts of his body. The star-pointed golden flame also tempered his body. Once, twice, 3 times. Gu Jin was completely immersed in the body refining method. But when he reached the extreme and stopped, a warm heat flow surged out, tempering and improving his strength. 4,000 kilograms of force, the realm has reached the middle of the first level. Gu Jin opened his eyes, and a gleam of light flashed in his eyes. The progress of the bodybuilding method is encouraging now. Compared with the initial practice of several years without any vitality, it is now a leap forward. The transformation brought by the heart upgrade made him feel the difference between the talented and the ordinary people. As long as the ordinary people have decent qualifications and are willing to practice hard, they can reach the 9th level of bodybuilding and have a force of 10,000 kilograms. However, for some talented or special people, it is very likely that they will have strength far beyond ordinary people at the same time. This is the gap. The reality, but it is taken for granted that people have to accept it. After having the ability to upgrade, Gu Jin, who could only look up to these special beings in the past, has the opportunity to surpass them. The heart broke the first limit, and Gu Jin decided to transfer the upgraded part. Thinking of the hand that lacked spirituality when drawing the talisman just now, Gu Jin took it into consideration. After careful consideration, he still did not decide to upgrade the hand. He has arranged the next upgrade parts. The bodybuilding realm is to temper the skin, flesh, and bones. And this is also the goal chosen by Gu Jin. He was looking forward to what his physical potential would reach when his skin, flesh, and bones were upgraded to break the limit. The limit of an ordinary cultivator at the 9th level is 10,000 kilograms of strength, so how much strength would he have? The next day, in the Demon City Cultivator Academy, many students gathered in the open and wide square. A burly man stood on the high platform, revealing a terrifying aura. This is a cultivation course. The students below are all in the body refining realm, including not only the cultivation department, but also the formation department. Body refining is the foundation, so even the formation department students need to take classes with the cultivation department students. Only after entering the chi-nourishing realm did they start to go their separate ways. The rough man talked about the things that need to be paid attention to at each stage of the body refining realm, and Gu Jin remembered them carefully. This is all the knowledge he needs. After the man finished explaining, the students began to practice on their own. Many students from the cultivation department also made appointments to practice against each other, showing their impressive martial arts in their hands. Gu Jin walked to a quiet corner alone and fell into deep thought. Since he got the upgraded talent, he has been focusing on himself, thinking about how to change his bad talent, but he forgot. Upgrading talent can not only upgrade oneself, but also upgrade external objects. When he was listening to the class just now, he couldn't help but think, can the 36-style bodybuilding method be upgraded? What effect will it have if the perfect bodybuilding method is upgraded? The moment this idea sprouted, it could not be suppressed immediately. Unfortunately, with his current realm, upgrading talent can only upgrade the body. This idea can only be tried after his realm breaks through and the ability of upgrading talent is improved. Hey, isn't this our famous handsome man? Why don't you wander around to satisfy the girl's eyes? A mocking and frivolous voice sounded. Gu Jin opened his eyes and looked, and there was a figure standing in front of him, looking down at him proudly. For Gu Jin, who has been looked down upon for a long time, his heart has been tempered, and it is difficult to be angered by such pale and childish provocation. In the past, he could be a sensible person. But now, everything is different. He tilted his head and smiled gently on his handsome face. My classmate, are you interested in a competition? Gu Jin's light words stunned many people who were watching the joke, and then someone couldn't help laughing out loud. That was a laugh at those who didn't know their own limits. Save the children. Wow. I almost exploded because of posting a comment. The author account cannot post, saying that it needs to be bound to a mobile phone. Then, because I filled in a mobile phone number in the information before, even if I changed it, when I pressed the Get Information Verification code, it automatically refreshed back to the non-existent mobile phone number. After 3 times, it said that the free verification times have been used up and I have to wait for an hour. After an hour, the result still did not work. Okay, I opened another small account and bound my mobile phone, but I still couldn't post. Then I remembered that the system prompts that upgrading membership and binding mobile phones can increase the number of comments posted. Okay, I recharged and upgraded my membership. But now, it still doesn't work. What the hell? Every time I reply or post a comment, it shows that the request has timed out. Let me ask everyone, how do you post comments? Do you use the web or mobile software? Do you bind your mobile phone or email? Can the email be bound? It's not that I don't reply, but I find that Feilu is really cool. That reader asked about heart problems. The protagonist breaks through the first level of body training and gains 1,000 kilograms. The heart is upgraded 3 times, increasing by 100, 200, and 300 kilograms respectively. In addition, the heart is tempering the body all the time, increasing by 100 kilograms, and the protagonist practices the protagonist for 100 kilograms. A total of 1,800 kilograms. Episode 9. Winning back dignity. Chen looked at Gu Jin in surprise, who was smiling gently and speaking with sharp words. He was stunned for a moment and then couldn't help but burst out laughing. Ha 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 ha. You want to spar with me? Chen pointed at Gu Jin with an exaggerated smile, then waved his hand pretending to be afraid and said, "Forget it, if I accidentally hurt you, those girls will be heartbroken and pity you." His words immediately caused a lot of laughter. Gu Jin, who was being ridiculed, looked indifferent. He stood up leisurely, walked to the weapon rack on the side, picked up a long sword at random and waved it, with the posture of a complete layman. Come on. Gu Jin turned around, his voice was calm, but revealed an unquestionable domineering. Oh. Chen, holding his hands, raised his eyebrows, with disdain in his eyes, walked to the weapon rack to take down a long sword, shook his head and said coldly, "You are really asking for trouble." Many students came forward to join in the fun, bustling and noisy. Is there a competition? On the roof of the hall beside the square, a young man sat on the eaves, with his hands behind his back. He had a delicate face and a gentle smile, and his whole body was filled with a gentle temperament like jade. A young man sat cross-legged beside him, with a straight and sharp posture, a long sword across his body, facing the words. He was cold and indifferent. These young men from other cities are becoming more and more annoying. The atmosphere of the academy has been corrupted by these people. The gentle young man looked at Chen and the students who were cheering and watching the excitement, with a sigh in his eyes. Seeing that his words did not get a response, the gentle young man continued to speak tirelessly. Finally, Li Han, who was sitting cross-legged, couldn't help but raise his eyes to look at him. The cold eyes stabbed his back like a knife. Han Yu suddenly felt a chill rising from his spine, and immediately shut up and made a zippering motion. Li Han looked at the two people who were confronting each other in the middle of the field with an indifferent look, and finally spoke with a voice as cold as a blade. Since you are taking the initiative to compete, you must be prepared to bear the consequences. After receiving the response, Han Yu's mouth corners widened and he smiled. Who do you think will win? Li Han snorted coldly when he heard the words, glanced at the two people who were confronting each other, disdained Chen strength, paused for a moment when he looked at Gu Jin, frowned and retracted his gaze. Han Yu smiled gently, but his eyes were shining and he affirmed, "It's good to let these young masters learn a lesson." The meaning of the words is self-evident. He is optimistic about Gu Jin's victory. In the field, Gu Jin casually raised the long sword, with a lot of flaws all over his body. Chen enjoyed the attention of everyone. The long sword was slanted, and he took steps, and his whole body was surging with blood. As his steps became faster and faster, his momentum gradually condensed. When he rushed in front of Gu Jin, the long sword broke through the air, and the brewing knife tore the air, and the harsh wind whistled. He did not hold back in this strike. Gu Jin did not move, as if he had lost his soul due to fear, but the strange thing was that none of the onlookers thought that Gu Jin was stunned at this moment. Gu Jin's leisurely and calm posture was really impressive. Huh. The long sword fell in an instant, and Gu Jin's deep eyes flashed with brilliant luster, immersed in a clear state of mind, calm consciousness, and clear mind. The trajectory of the long sword was engraved in his mind, and he took a step forward without haste, turned sideways, held the long sword upside down, and slashed up. The complacency in Chen's eyes collapsed, and he became a little flustered. He burst out with all his strength, but Gu Jin actually dodged it lightly? The seemingly inadvertent step and the coincidental sideways made him feel constrained, and he rushed forward and slashed with the long sword. Could such a smooth feeling of success be achieved by the waste who has not yet started body refining? Chen is at the 4th level of body refining. Compared with other young people from other families, his strength is definitely at the bottom, and he is even inferior to the civilian geniuses with scarce resources. But even so, no one still thinks that Gu Jin can handle it. Chen gritted his teeth, his blood was surging, and he resisted the pain of muscle fascia strain to stop the long sword, trying to withdraw and retreat to avoid the light blow. But at the moment Chen retreated, Gu Jin had expected it, and the long sword was horizontal, and the sword tip accurately threatened Chen wrist. Now he has two choices, either to break his hand, or abandon the sword. Chen immediately let go and retreated. When the long sword lost its grip and was about to fall, Gu Jin reached out and held it, and swung it violently. Chi! The long sword tore through the air and hit Chen, who was retreating. Huh! The long sword brushed past Chen's shoulders as he tried his best to dodge, and stabbed diagonally into the bluestone ground behind him, but at the same time, Chen had to stop his retreat. If he retreated any further, he would hit the sword. Buzz. But when he stopped, he suddenly saw the tip of the sword still trembling slightly stopped in front of his neck. Gu Jin still held the sword in the way of an amateur, with many flaws on his body, which made Chen tremble. Interesting. Han Yu smiled and clapped his hands when he saw the end of the sparring. Just now, Gu Jin stepped sideways, slashed to grab the sword, swung the sword to stop the enemy, and followed up with the long sword. The series of actions gave people a sense of natural and smooth flow. It was like, all this was expected by the other party. Li Han frowned and looked at Gu Jin deeply. He saw through the rough swordsmanship at a glance. His cultivation was at the first level of physical training, and his speed and strength were just mediocre. But he defeated his opponent in such a strange and smooth way. Suddenly, he couldn't help but look at Han Yu's back. This style is somewhat similar to this guy. Gu Jin's casual victory over Chen is undoubtedly an amazing thing. Even if Chen is unlearned, he is at least the 4th level of physical training. With Gu Jin's incompetent strength, how could he defeat the opponent? But the facts are right in front of him. Did Gu Jin hide his strength? As soon as this thought came up, they recalled the scene of the duel just now. Gu Jin's speed and strength were mediocre. Only the coincidental step and sideways were slightly eye-catching. It doesn't seem like he is hiding his strength. Gu Jin ignored the surprised, puzzled, or even admiring eyes, put the long sword back on the sword rack, and turned away. However, in an instant, the news that Gu Jin defeated the 4th level physical training practitioner spread like the wind. In fact, this is not a big deal, but who can blame Gu Jin? In fact, Gu Jin's poor qualifications would not be ridiculed by everyone. But who told him to be too ostentatious? Now, Gu Jin has the talent to upgrade, and his strength has improved by leaps and bounds. What happened today was just him winning back respect by himself. Episode 10. Amazing talent. Gu Jin left the martial arts square and went to the book pavilion of the formation department, intending to continue studying intermediate formation runes. The previous events did not leave any trace in his heart. Even if he defeated the 4th level with the strength of the middle stage of the 1st level, he did not feel the joy of aftertaste. After the physical upgrade, Gu Jin was like breaking the shackles of his body, and underwent a transformation that ordinary people could not match. With his current physical talent, just upgrading his brain and heart to break the first limit. It is enough to surpass many geniuses. I am afraid that only the extremely top-notch geniuses can match it. Brilliant talent, this is the talent level that surpasses the top genius level, and Gu Jin's current understanding is undoubtedly at this level. And compared to those brilliant talents who have unique talents in certain aspects, such as swordsmanship, palm skills, certain attribute talents of formations, etc. Gu Jin is completely different. The upgrade of his brain is all-round, making him a versatile existence. No matter what Gu Jin learns in the future, it will be so shockingly fast. As for his physical talent, after his heart broke through the first limit, it brought about a transformation in his body, which greatly increased the speed of his bodybuilding practice, but it did not reach a remarkable level. Perhaps he was an outstanding talent, but not an excellent one. However, Gu Jin did not mind too much. After all, he only broke through the first limit of his heart. Next, he would upgrade his skin, flesh, and bones. I believe that everything would change dramatically by then. Moreover, judging from Gu Jin's current feeling, the greatest effect of upgrading various parts of his body was not the improvement in the speed of practice, but the effect that allowed his body to break through the limit of the human body. For example, he was only in the middle stage of the first stage, but he had a force of 4,000 kilograms, which was comparable to the existence of the 4th stage. This could probably only be done by those who were born with special physical talents. But how many people have strong physical talents and brilliant comprehension talents? Now Gu Jin has begun to gradually reach the top of the pyramid. Walking in the quiet bamboo forest, a bamboo leaf occasionally falls with the wind. The breeze is gentle, and the sound of the stream in the distance is gentle and peaceful, which makes people feel peaceful. Gu Jin turned his clenched hands while walking, as if he was holding something in his hands and dancing. He was recalling the short 3 times he swung the sword in the duel just now. The sword was held casually, and the moves were even more rough, without any taste of swordsmanship at all. The duel was too easy, and the every move of the unknown person was analyzed in his mind, and all kinds of coping methods were already clear in his mind. In addition, the opponent underestimated the enemy. So Gu Jin didn't even use a bit of strength, and easily defeated the opponent. Now he is savoring the feeling of swordsmanship. His current comprehension is at the level of amazing talent, and the same is true for his comprehension of kendo. Now let him learn swordsmanship, the speed is absolutely amazing. But Gu Jin felt a sense of alienation, which even those who also have amazing kendo talents may not be able to wipe. But this slight estrangement made Gu Jin feel like there was something stuck in his throat. Just like when he was practicing drawing array runes before, he had a clear idea in mind, but there was a deviation when he started. Others may think that it is enough to practice a few more times. But Gu Jin wanted to solve the reason for his deviation. Drawing runes is due to the problem of hand dexterity and cannot be properly grasped. What about swordsmanship? Retracting his hand, Gu Jin wrote another question in the small notebook in his heart. His talent can upgrade everything, so can the invisible and traceless existence of swordsmanship also be upgraded? This is what he is looking forward to. He came to the book pavilion, nodded to the old man who was guarding it as a greeting, and then went to the small courtyard of the book pavilion, where there was a clear spring. Bamboo is used as a pipeline, which is drawn from the mountain stream and gathered in a hollowed-out bluestone. He took a pot of clear water, returned to the book pavilion, found the intermediate array runes, sat by the window, listened to the sound of bamboo leaves, sipped the clear spring water, and devoted his mind to the perception of array runes. The old man at the door looked at the young man whose every move revealed elegance and leisure, with a hint of curiosity in his turbid eyes. He looked to be about 17 or 18 years old, but he was only at the first level of body refining. This cultivation level was only slightly better than that of ordinary people who could not practice, let alone compared with geniuses. But the blood in his body was extremely vigorous, full of vitality, and the sound of his heartbeat was deafening. It seemed that his body also had a unique talent. But shouldn't such a person take the path of cultivation? Why have he been studying the Book of Formation runes for the past 2 days, and it was intermediate formation runes? The old man did not delve into it. This was just an inadvertent wave in his quiet years. After a moment, he put it behind his mind and looked at the bamboo forest outside the door, emptying his mind. Gu Jin took a sip of spring water. He had a sensitive sense of touch with spiritual perception. He caught the old man's inadvertent gaze just now. That gaze was penetrating, as if he saw through him. However, the old man did not reveal any malicious intent, nor did he ask for the root of the matter, so Gu Jin did not care. After the brain broke through the limit once, the characteristics of clarity and brightness could allow him to conceal his own aura, including the transformation brought about by the mental power and heart breaking the limit. But he was only a mid-level first-stage body cultivator, who had just stepped into the threshold of cultivation. Of course, he did not think that he could hide the perception of all the strong men by relying on the characteristics of clarity and brightness. Perhaps because the mental power was hidden in the consciousness space, almost no one could perceive it when he did not use it. But the changes brought about by the heart, the heat and vitality emitted by the surging golden flame, at most prevented the existence of 1 or 2 levels higher than him from seeing through. Perhaps one day he would upgrade every part of his body to break the limit, and then a new transformation would occur, making his whole body mixed and integrated, without leaking a single bit. Time passed quickly as Gu Jin studied the formation runes. When the book pavilion lit the lamp, he closed the book, said goodbye to the old man and left. The stone platforms dotted on both sides of the path in the bamboo forest lit up, illuminating the bamboo forest with a bright gilded light. Walking out of the bamboo forest, passing the hall where classes were held, we came to the lake. You can see that the lotus flowers planted in the lake are like bright moons at night, shining brightly, dyeing the lake water into a transparent golden jade, and with the elegant environment, the scenery is beautiful and moving. Every landscape in the Magic City Training Academy has its own unique charm, but in the past, Gu Jin was deeply trapped in worries about the future, and he was in a hurry to come and go, so he didn't have the energy to pay attention. Now I can appreciate it well.